Math 50, Section 7.4. Here are some applications on how to use percents. Example number 1 says we have a circle graph, and here it is right here in the margin. And I'm not quite sure if you have this circle graph in the notes, but here it is. What it shows the Appalachian Trail mileage by state. So here are the states that I guess the Appalachian Trail hits. And the total mileage of this trail is 2,174. So now they are asking you to use this circle graph to determine the number of miles in just the state of New York. So you have to have the information here, which you don't probably. And it says New York is 4%. So we want to know exactly how many miles of this Appalachian Trail are in New York. So it's first we want to state the problem in words. We want to know what number is 4% of the total. So that's X, and you're going to use what we learned in the last section. What number? X is 0.04, and then times 2,174. So if you use your calculator, you'll see that it's approximately 86.96, and we're just going to round to 87 miles. Okay, that's example 1. Example 2 is asking you to find the percent of nursing school applications. So we have, it says there continues to be a shortage of nursing school facilities. Recently, of the 266,000 applications to bachelor degree nursing school, 120,000 of these were accepted. We want to know what percent of these applications were accepted. So we want to know 120 is what percent of this total. So that's exactly it. 120 is what percent, X over 100 times 266. So this is 266 over 100 equals 120. And again, if you got the X there, if you cross multiply, you get 266x equals 120 with 2 zeros. Now, because both of these are in the thousand, you don't have to write, add the zeros. So now 12,000 divided by 266 is about 45%. So 12,000 divided by 266 is 45. So it's 45%. Now, if you wanted to do it the way that they are showing it here, you would do 120 is what percent, if you want to call that X, times 266. So this is 266x equals 120. Then divide by 266. And X is going to be 0.45. But you have to remember that's not the answer. You have to move the decimal 2 places over to get 45%. So if you do it my way, if you put what percent over 100, the answer will be correct. If you do it this way, you have to move the decimal 2 places over. Example 3, finding the base number of absences. This one says, Mr. Percy, the principal at Slidell High School, counted 31 freshmen absent on a particular day. So, and this is 4% of the total number of freshmen. How many freshmen are there at Slidell? So we want to know 31 is 4% of what's the total. So 31 equals 4%, 0.04 of, so times X. So divide by 0.04. And let's just use our calculator, and you end up with 775 freshmen are at Slidell High School. Example 4, This one says, this is asking you to find the base increase in licensed drivers. So it says from 2015 to 2016, the number of licensed drivers on the road in the United States increased by 5.8%. And if there's 210 million licensed drivers, what is that number? So 5.8% of this number is what? So that's the total number of increase in licensed drivers. So they're asking for what number is 5.8% of 210. So again, X equals, you're going to turn that into a decimal, 0.058 times 210. So if you just use your calculator and multiply that out, you get 12.18. And again, make sure you read the problem. The number is in millions. So instead of adding all the zeros to this 210, we're just going to abbreviate and write million after that. So it's 12.18 million. Okay. Next, it says how many licensed drivers would there be in 2016? So if you take the increase with the original and add them together, so you're going to add, there's 210 million right now. We're going to add it to the increase, 12.18 million. And you will get 222.18 million. Okay. I love these problems. How to find the percent of increase or decrease. They're both the same. All you do to find how much it increases or decreases, what percent, all you do is you will subtract the two amounts and always divide by the original. Okay, so if, like in this first problem, it says the number of applications for a mathematics scholarship at one university increased from, it started, this is the original, it started at 34 and it ended at 45. So common sense, it increased, okay? So the original and it ended at 45. So you always do the difference of these two. So I'm going to, don't do 34 minus 45. Always subtract, take the bigger number, subtract the smaller, okay? And then you divide this, so the difference is always over the original, the start. The original is where it began. So 45 minus 34 over the original 34. So all you do, so the amount of increase is 11 because 45 minus 34 is 11. And then you're going to turn this, you're going to divide 11 divided by 34 is 0.32 using your calculator. And so that, and then move the decimal 2 places over. So it's a 32% increase. It increased from 34 to 45. And you do the same for percent of decrease. You're gonna, for example, 6. In response to a decrease in sales, a company with 1,500 employees reduces the number of employees, so it went down. So again, you subtract. The original, though, is 1,500. So when you do the subtraction, you get 270, and you always divide that by the original amount. So 270 over the original, which is 1,500. Do the division, you get 0.18, and then move the decimal 2 places to the right, so it's 18%. That's it.